Hi, hello, how are you? Amanda, Seint artist. Let's talk about makeup. All right, if you want to try this makeup, Seint makeup, cream base, you're going to watch me put it on. You're going to say, I want it. Just send me a makeup-free selfie. You can message me. You can fill out my form, whatever you want to do. Let's get you started. This is all foundational coverage in here. This is all foundational coverage right here. That's why I like this makeup. Everything is formulated the same. It all works the same. It works together to give this flawless finish without heavy, stacked, cakey makeup. It's good. I've been using this makeup for 3 years and I'm not looking to go anywhere else. So let's get into the things that have worked for me and that have worked for you guys, my customers. And for those coming in, this could be really helpful for you. I'm not gonna lie. If you have dry skin, moisturize and let it sit on your skin for 20 to 30 minutes. It needs to do its job on its own. Don't mix it with your makeup because that's all you're doing is mixing it with your makeup and it can cause slipping, especially with the cream makeup. So let that sit in, soak in, and do what it needs to do. I have oily skin. I use Milk Hydro Grip. I just put a little pea-size amount on my finger. I rub my hands together and then I put it on my face. There's no real perfect rhyme or reason. Just get it on your face. And then it'll get a little tacky and then it'll soak in. And I really like this stuff. I've been using it for over a year. I've been using this bottle for over a year and this is where I am on it. And I will say this, I do my makeup a lot, sometimes 2-3 times a day. I use it a lot and I've still had that same bottle for over a year. So it will last you a good amount of time because I do my makeup more than the average person. I also like to use setting powder prior. So I use Vanilla Dust. I keep 2 in my palette. That's my palette. That's my preference. And then I prep my face with it. So as I kind of fuss with my face, I notice that I produce a little more oil. I don't know. It sounds really gross, but that's what happens. So I just put a really light dusting of Vanilla Dust and it helps to combat it and it gives me more longevity out of my makeup. Easy. Keep one in your purse. I like to touch up my makeup with my finger and then I will take a little poof and my setting powder and I will just go and set it after I have fixed it. It's makeup, not magic. It's gonna move throughout the day. If you're using traditional makeup that doesn't move, it's probably cracking and you're gonna need to find a way to touch it up. That's not my area. My area is Seint makeup. Reset those areas where you see movement and then put some powder on it if you need to. Okay, next, I have a darker forehead than the lower part of my face. I also have a darker lower part of my face than my neck, and I'm going to show you how to combat each of those, but I'm going to start with my forehead first. If your forehead is a different shade than the lower part of your face, this foundation color is not going to work for up here, so I'm going to show you how I help to combat that. I'm going to use the detail brush, and what I like to do is I go in to my contour first, and then I'm going to put this on either side of my forehead. Contour your forehead based off of what you have. If you have a smaller forehead, keep it thin and high. If you have a larger forehead, you can easily bridge this together. It's whatever you want, but contour your forehead. Don't put a main foundation on top. And then we're going to take a brightening. I'm going to use the small end. I'm going to go into my brightening highlight. I'm going to go right here in between my brows. I'm going to push this over each brow, and you can add if you need to. And as these two merge together, it creates a beautiful, even skin tone, and you don't need a third highlight color. Grab this brush, pull it towards the contour. You can even take a little bit of bronzer if you want and bronze each side of your forehead. I love that I don't need to have another foundation color. So there you go. That's how you combat having a darker forehead than the lower part of your face. Done. Okay, let's talk about redness. A lot of people have 2 different kinds of redness, and this is what I want to talk about. I use Aspen to correct my redness. A lot of people feel like it turns their skin a tone of purple. So then I want to introduce you to June. June is actually my main highlight, but if it's not your main highlight, you can still use it to correct. So I'm going to use the detail brush again, and I'm going to go into June, and I'm going to tap this on my redness. Just on my redness, the way I'm going to do this with, look at that, it just neutralizes it, gives it coverage, so easy. You can also do this with Aspen, and you can easily neutralize it using Aspen. It is 2 different tones, and it works. Pop it into that corner of your nose, grab a little bit of June, you can do that right over here too. 2 ways to correct redness. It really just depends on your skin tone and what you're looking for out of your makeup. If you feel Aspen makes it purple, grab June and correct with June. It's worked with a lot of my customers. Let's talk about hyperpigmentation. I am going to use the blend brush. I recommend this brush if you are camouflaging melasma, hyperpigmentation, sunspots, age spots, whatever you call them. Get yourself the blend brush. It's a light application brush, perfect for camouflaging because you're not needing a full layer of makeup. You're needing a very light veil of makeup. I'm going to go into Suede. This is a lip liner. It is dense. You're going to grab it on the fluffy end of the blend brush, and you are going to go around. We're going to go around the melasma, and I'm going to pull this up into my temple towards that bronzer. But you're going to camouflage it, and I just kind of sculpt the whole area. You want it to look natural because, again, you're camouflaging. You're trying to blend it into the rest. And so this is how I do it. Grab a little bit more. Again, a light application brush. You don't want to use a denser brush for this. You're going to put on too much makeup. I'm going to go around my hyperpigmentation and up. I'm getting quite a bit on the perimeter of my face. And that is how I camouflage my hyperpigmentation. If you have very red breakouts, I'm going to say go Aspen. And you're just going to neutralize it. You can use Demi. This is not a video for Demi. This is how to use your 3D makeup. I am going to use a little bit of Demi right here for my under eyes. It is the only place I feel you can use Demi with 3D. That's my opinion. This is my tutorial. And if you like the other way, keep doing it. You're not wrong. Okay? Okay. Under eyes. If you have darkness under your eyes, you can do 2 things. I'm going to grab myself a Demi brush that I should have gotten out ahead of time, but we know how I do, and I just don't do. I just don't, and I keep my brushes in a drawer. Also not recommended. I'm going to use the bright brush. I'm going to go in, and this is Y01. Everyone's under eye is different. You can use 03, you can use OY1. Message me for a color match and we can find that. I'm going to show you 2 ways to do this. You can take your Demi and you will tackle this by spot treating. We are going to go in just where it's dark, which is a bit in my trough, up onto this corner here, up towards my duct, and then I get very dark right on this inner corner. Right there. Flip it to the fluffy and I'm going to tap this out. This is going to correct and brighten. That's what this is going to do. Corrected and brightened. Look at how nice this looks. I like this. I do prefer Demi under my 3D for my brightening under eye because I do like a really bright under eye. I think it makes me look younger. The other option are these 2 right here. I like Frenchie the most, but you can also use Saint Tropez. These are not limited edition colors. I'm going to try to stay away from those today because I don't want to push something that's no longer available. Saint Tropez is great if you're a bit deeper. I like Frenchie. I put it on my finger and then I go onto my corner. I push up and then I pull out. And you can see it puts it a shade of pink. So it's doing 2 very different things. That's what I recommend for your under eye. For a long time before Demi came out, I just used Frenchie, and it did take me a long time to try Demi. And I prefer it, but everybody is to each their own. What I love, you may not love. If you don't want an under eye that's bright, do Frenchie and then put your main highlight on top. It's whatever you want to do. But this is what I recommend. I am going to go back into the blend brush. This is a soft tissue. If you feel that your under eyes are puffy and it gets crepey very easily, get this blend brush. It's great, again, for camouflaging hyperpigmentation, but it's also great for applying your under eye brightening. I'm using Versailles. I'm going to go in on the small end. I'm going to tap into this, and I'm going to go under the trough. This is going to help. Everybody has this, okay? There's an orbital bone. There's a bone right here, and there's an eyeball right here. So everything in between, it's going to be a very soft skin, and it's going to easily crepe. It's going to easily look like you have fine lines. You're going to mature it if you put too much product on it, which is another way I kind of prefer brightening with the Demi, but I've never had an issue with using Frenchie, and I did Frenchie for 2 years. 2 years I used Frenchie, so I'm not saying that it's the wrong way by any means. So you start under the trough, and then we're going to push this up into that inner corner, and we're tapping over the Frenchie. You're not wiping, you're tapping. And look, looks the same. It's good stuff. It's good stuff, okay? Grabbing a little more, and I'm staying on this orbital bone. You don't want to apply too much makeup to the soft tissue area. You're wanting to go around the soft tissue area below that trough. This is going to help camouflage your puffiness and then bring it up. Will your puffiness still be there? Yeah, it will. There's no taking away your texture. Texture is texture, and we can easily try to hide it, but we can also very easily accentuate it. So going on your orbital bone first and then pushing it up onto that soft tissue last is going to help. I like to pull up here. It gives my eye a little bit of lift, but look at how pretty that looks. Grabbing that brightening again, and I'm going to do the exact same method under the trough, and I'm going to go up. Again, tapping because we corrected. We're tapping, tapping, tapping. If you don't need to correct, you just have puffiness, tapping, 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 staying on that orbital bone and pulling up. This will give you some lift, but again, tapping on that orbital bone and then bringing it up is going to help camouflage the puffiness without accentuating. All we're trying to do when you have puffy under eyes is not accentuate. We're not going to take it away, but we're not going to accentuate it. If you have a lot of fine lines, I have crow's feet, I have all those things. So going light is really important because I don't want it to settle into them. So less is more. Remember, this is 80% pigmentation. So you don't need a lot to get a really good coverage. We don't want a fine line. If you ever feel like you've applied too much, take a fluffy brush and tap over it and thin it out. And if it's in the middle of the day, grab that finger and tap it and smoosh it back out. You're just smooshing it back out. Take yourself a little puff with some powder and then set it. Don't put too much on. Start on that hard point, that orbital bone, or start back here at your temple, and then you'll bring it in to set it. Never directly set, powder right here. You don't want to take loose, especially loose powder, but you don't want to take pressed powder. So you want to grab it, put some on, and we're going to go right out here. See, you don't want that on these fine lines. And then you're just going to press it down that orbital bone and then up. And that's how you're going to do it. That's how you will set your under eye. You could start at that orbital bone and then you press down, or temple, work down the orbital bone, then up. You want it to be your last point of contact. That's the under eyes. We're just going to work around the face. I have no rhyme or reason today. I'm just working my way through the face. We all know I do my under eyes last, and now I just did them first. There's no wrong way to do this makeup. None. Okay, let's talk about laying our makeup on top of our corrector. The tip is tapping, stippling, if you will. I am going to be using my detail brush. I'm going into my contour, and I am going to go above this natural shadowing. This is going to give me lift, and I'm going to underblend it. You don't need too much, but you don't want to blend it down. Otherwise, once you get everything else on there, it's going to blend it away. Depending on your face shape is how you're going to apply. I like to give lift to my face, so I curve it up, and I don't like to bring it in more than the outside of my eye corner, outer eye corner. Little football thing right here, okay? Don't come into this zone. We're staying on the outer zone. Okay, there we go. Look at how pretty that is. This is really coming together real nice today. I'm just gonna say, I'm really digging it. Okay, bronzer. You don't need a lot of bronzer. Just gonna grab a little bit on the outside of my brush, and I'm gonna put this right on the high point of my cheekbone here and pull it up. But I'm always tapping where I've corrected. No matter where your correction is, tappy tap tap. Just tap it in. And then I bring it up. I like that little kiss of warmth. I'm always waiting for summer. I live in Oregon. We only get about 2.5 months of summer, so I'm always living for the fake summer, which is bronzer. Okay, let's talk about our main highlight. This is your foundation, and I've already done a lot of makeup with very little main foundation because guess what? Again, all of this is foundation. That's why this is so good, because you don't need to stack. You don't need to pile it all on. I am going to go in with the buff brush. I'm going to go into June. That's my main highlight. June is a tricky highlight, and this is why I'm going to talk about it. I have acne breakouts, hormonal acne breakouts. I'm going to use this June to chisel out my contour, but I'm also pulling this down towards my jaw. June has green undertones to it. So this is a good medium toned skin that has natural pink and redness in it. We will recommend June. This is why it's really important to have a custom color match because June can really easily turn yellow and turn green on your skin. So you want to make sure that if you're picking June, it's because you need June. So again, I'm adding this. All I'm needing my main highlight for here is to balance my skin tones. I have a lot of discoloration. My skin tone's just not even. So I'm using June, my main highlight. I'm going to flip this and I'm just going to blend these together. Look at that. I love the way these all work together. So all I'm doing right now is evening out the skin tone on the lower part of my face if I have my discoloration, hyperpigmentation, and then I'm going to come right here on my chin. With our skin, we do have natural reflecting light right here, and then we also have our points here. And so I'm going to be using a brightening highlight for those. But if you look, you can see, I'm going to switch to this detail brush just to give this a good little blendy poo. Maybe add a little more. You can just, I love working with this. There's just things, okay? Fluffy, fluffy, fluff. Okay. My neck and my face. If you look, June does pull a bit yellow on me, and it's because I do need to correct my redness in my skin, but my neck is a different color, and this can sometimes pull a bit yellow. So here's your trick. We're gonna contour our jawline first. This is gonna help create a barrier. You already have natural shadow here. That's this big dark line. We're just mimicking that. I'm gonna go in front of my earlobe. This just gives it structure. And then I'm going up and down my jaw here. This is not the trick. This is a trick for your jaw. If you have a very full face and you want some structure, just here, right there. It's so good. Again, grabbing that contour, going in front of that earlobe and pulling it down. You don't need this to be a heavy line. This is, again, just a very light shadow. But again, if you want to structure, I like to structure the back of my jawline here. If you have June and you feel it's pulling funny or your neck and your face just aren't jiving together, here's the trick. Take a small end of the brush. You can use this brush. You can use the small end of the blend brush, the small end of the buff brush if you want. Go into your brightening highlight. So I have my main highlight here, my contour here. We're gonna take that color. We're gonna go right on the jawline above that contour, and we're gonna create, I need more so you guys can see. Honestly, this is probably too much, but it's for a video. We are creating that barrier, and it's gonna help balance your neck and your face. If you're wearing a turtleneck, a high neck like this, a hoodie, this is a great trick so you're not applying bronzer to your neck. That's my other trick. You grab a little bit of bronzer and you're gonna put that at the top base of your neck, and that's going to help you bridge to your face. 2 tricks for your neck. You can add bronzer to bring it up to your face. Very easy. I usually take whatever's left and pull it up, or you can take your brightening highlight right at the base above that contour and it will help balance it out. Super duper easy. All right, how do we contour our nose? For a lot of people, this is a big struggle because not every nose is straight and perfect. Mine sure isn't. I have a bump right here on my nose. It's a high point, and if I'm not careful, it creates a bald spot on my makeup because it's a high point. I use my fingers. I'm gonna show you the finger on one side. So I just put a little bit on my ring finger, and I'm gonna draw over that bump and create a straight line because that's what I'm trying to structure out. And then it's just gonna follow to the tip. You can do this with a brush. You could take the detail brush and you can easily create a straight line that way also. There's no wrong way. I always square off my tip. We're gonna tap this. Your brows to your nose always have a natural shadow. So when you're tapping this, don't wipe if you have a bumpy or crooked nose. You will tap it so to help avoid that high point. Get the tip, but pushing with this little point of the brush into the brow, and then we're going to bridge these two together so it's going to be a little bit brown. We're going to take this pointy end of the brush and we're going to go into our brightening, and we're going to go down the middle of the brush, and then we're going to get interrupted by small children. I'll be out in just a minute, okay?
Can I have an apple?
Yes, she can. So here it is. This creates a little bit of a button, and this is the straight line. This is where, if you have a crooked nose, straightens everything out. If you have a bumpy nose, bridging it together and tapping is going to avoid that high point. I'm going to tap out the tip, and then I'm going to tap up. The warmth of my skin is going to help tap this out, and then I'm going to flick, flick, flick And this makes a nice straight nose. It's by far the best nose trick I've ever learned. And I thought, I don't even know if I stole it at this point. I don't know if I stole the idea. Yeah, baby?
Can I have a cut it out?
Yes, I'll be out in just a minute. Okay, can we? Okay, guys, shut the door and I will cut it in just a minute. Thank you. Oh, you're sweet. Okay, the nose is done. You can take a little tiny brush if you're wanting to and just tap out these edges. You don't want a harsh line. So I want the fluffy brush. This fluffy brush is money. If you want to give everything a final marrying, this is your brush. Okay, where was I? I was so distracted by my babies. Okay, if you have acne scarring, this is something I run into the problem with, but you like a bold pink blush, my acne scarring very easily will grab and pull. So what I have to do is I take Saint Tropez or I take Frenchie and I use these two just on the apples, and it I don't know why, it just works. I wish I was really good at this, but it just works. And that's the only reason I can give you. This just works. I'm using pink grapefruit right here. Yeah, honey?
Mommy, I don't need to get it cut because I just digged through with my teeth.
Okay, baby. She's got one missing and one loose one. So I'm gonna have to cut it. Okay, anyways, let's just get back on track here. So I'm gonna use today, just because it's fun, I used Frenchie under my eye over here. This is another reason why I like Frenchie. It's not a one-trick pony. It's not just a blush color. It's an under eye corrector. It's an ombre. We're gonna do an ombre cheek. I like using satin finishes. If you have scarring and rosacea, these glossies right here, they're nice and they're beautiful for your lips, but they can be tacky, and so they can pull that stuff through too. So I'm gonna take, let's do both. I'm gonna take Saint Tropez on this side, and I'm gonna put it on the apple of my cheek. This is going over, this is going over all my discoloration I have on my cheek. Then I'm gonna take Frenchie and I'm gonna put that one over here, because why not? They are very similar. One's just a bit brighter. So I'm gonna put that one over here. And this again is just going to keep it from pulling through. I'm going into pink grapefruit. I love pink blushes. These are pink grapefruit, dahlia, baby watermelon. They're so pretty. Look at how bright and lovely that is. Spring is just around the corner, people. So we are going to go right up here, boop, 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 boop. And I keep my blushes up high. I have maturing cheeks. I'm 42 years old, and the volume in my cheeks goes down as I get older. So hanging your color up high helps from having those clown circles and maturing your face. I'm gonna use the blush and bronzer brush, and I'm gonna tap into first is it pink grapefruit or baby watermelon? Pink grapefruit. I just wanted to be sure. I'm gonna tap into pink grapefruit first, and then as it blends down, I'm gonna blend it into Saint Tropez. I really love Saint Tropez. It's so pretty and it helps combat again, but look at how pretty those are together. So let's do pink grapefruit and Frenchie. We're gonna start on pink grapefruit. I smile when I do this so I can see exactly where my cheeks are. Then I'm gonna bring it down into Frenchie. I'm gonna take it to the fluffy end, and it just gives everything a good yumminess. This is why I underblend my contour. I put on bronzer and I've put on blush, and I tap into that contour and it blends it down. You wouldn't see it if I had blended it all the way down at the beginning. Okay, this is all coming together real nice here. If you want to have fuller lips without going and getting the injections, they're tempting. Oh, they are tempting. I tell you what, I'm gonna contour my lips. You can go and get the multitasker brush. You can get a little brush and do these perfectly structured shadowings. I do it, but if you're just wanting to do it fast, you can do that easily with the edge of your detail brush and just go like that and just create that shadow. There's another artist, she calls them juicy lips. We're just juicing them up, I guess. Then I'm doing a Gomez Adams over my upper lip. A nice thin mustache above the lip, outer lining. And all this is doing is creating a shadow to give the illusion of a lip flip. That's all it is. You can go right in between your peaks here. This is where brightening comes in handy. Grab that brightener. We're gonna brighten right here. This is creating a really pretty contrast that's gonna make those juicy lips pop. I don't like calling them juicy lips. It feels weird. I think I'm too old to call them juicy lips. Not that I'm old, but at 42, I don't need to be calling them juicy lips. I'm gonna take a little bit of that brightening and I'm gonna hit those high points on my Cupid's bow. And look at how just highlighting them a little bit is just a touch of pretty, a touch of pretty. If you have lines, straw lines, smoke lines, what age lines, don't worry. Here's my biggest tip for that. Get a lip liner. Suede lip liner is really good. I like a pencil. And the reason I like a pencil is because, what color do I want to use? I like a pencil because they're dense, but they're pointy, and you can make them pointy so you get a little more control than you do with a little brush. So I'm using the color, what is this? Strip Down by MAC. My favorite is half red, but it's in my gym bag. Ooh, I'm gonna use my other favorite. I don't know why I tried to remake the wheel here. So this, obviously, this is my favorite. This is a Makeup Forever, and this color is Wherever Walnut. People say whatever walnut, it's wherever. Just letting you know. So I'm gonna sharpen this. It's already fairly, can you even see, sharp. It's a nice neutral brown. I need to link this one also. My room needs to get clean too. So I'm gonna take this brush, or pencil, my gosh, and I am going to line my lips. I am not going to outer line them. I'm just gonna line them. Hug the edge. This, using a pencil, it gives the illusion of a fuller lip. I don't know why, it just does, but look at, it's already starting to look fuller, but this also, because it's dense and because it's a pencil and the density of this coloring, it's going to keep your lipsticks from bleeding through. Or bleeding out, I guess is a better term. Again, I don't outer line my lips. This is it. I love this color. It's such a good neutral color, but look at how much fuller my lips look. They're pouty, they're cute. I like bringing up that brightening right up here because it pushes that pout out, I think. Everything, shadowing and brightening, it's all about accentuating and stuff. I mean, I have no good reason, guys. I have no good reason. And I'm going to go into the color Summer Love. It's this one right here. It's really pretty, and because it's glossy, it's hydrating. Our satin finishes, while they are very pretty, they are drying, and you still have to put a color on top. I really love Summer Love. It looks good on everybody. It's a beautiful neutral color, and my lips are chapped, so I need a nice hydrating lip color, but that's it. I'm going to take this fluffy brush. I'm going to go back into my setting powder. Okay, we're going to put some on. I'm going to really load this up, shake it off. I'm going to use Urban Decay De-Slick. This is an oil control setting spray, so if you have oily skin, this is it. Spray your face, get it nice. I mean spray it. Get it good and damp. Take that setting powder and go on the outside and work it in. And press that setting spray into your skin. But start on the outside and work it in. Do this. If you are a baker, if you like to take, this is a long video, I'm sorry guys. If you are a baker, which means you like to take a loose powder and put a bunch on, let it sit and absorb. I used to be a baker. I used to love baking, but it does accentuate pores and it does accentuate fine lines. If you have large pores, you don't want to mess with loose setting powder. You can take Aspen, I forgot to mention that at the beginning. You can take Aspen with a light application brush and sweep a little Aspen over your pores, and it will help camouflage them. We are not filling them, so you're using a light application brush. So you're not filling them, you're just gonna sweep it over, and it's going to help camouflage them. But if you're wanting to bake, I recommend doing a preset like this and then baking if you must, because there's a very fine line, as there is with oily skin. Dewy, greasy. You could very easily cross the line of matte, chalky. Don't be chalky. All right, that's it. That's my face. Those are my tips and tricks. This was one of my longer videos, but I really wanted to hit on as much as I could. I'm kicking myself for missing the pores at the beginning, but Aspen is a great camouflager for that. Okay, that's it. Have a great day.